One. Hi again, M2 fans, and welcome to the latest edition of the M2 Review. We are really going to look ahead a little bit, but it's very exciting news for the indoor soccer fans of the Twin Cities, Minneapolis, St. Paul, because pro indoor soccer will be returning to your fair city starting in the 2024-25 season, as the Minnesota Blizzard will be one of the newest members of Major Arena Soccer League 2. And we are delighted today to have with us the owner and the president of the Blizzard, and a guy who has been involved in indoor soccer in Minnesota and outdoor soccer for that matter for many years. And that is Chad Hendricks. And Chad, thank you so much for being with us. Exciting time for you, joining the M2 indoors, joining the NPSL outdoors. Quite a time for the Blizzard to really step up their profile in the Minnesota and St. Paul, Minneapolis area. What led to the decision to take the Blizzard to this new level?
Yeah. Thanks for having me, Brian. I'm excited, really excited for both leagues. But I've been a huge fan of indoor soccer my whole life. I think with the Minnesota Strikers back in the '80s, and I've always had a desire to, keep that going. Right, I play in an indoor league year round as much as I can for many years. So I've always been the one organizing teams and running teams, and I've always had a strong desire to own my own franchise. And I joke that I don't have the funds to buy Manchester United, so hey, I said let me go down a level or two, but do something in my backyard here to bring soccer back, indoor soccer back to the market. I'm just ecstatic about it. I'm super excited. I know it's a ways out, but I'm super excited for the next winter.
Well, let me give you my first piece of advice. It'll be here quicker than you think.
Right.
And
We're trying to get past the current winter in Minnesota. Now I got to think about the next winter. You
you mentioned the Strikers. You just don't have a passing memory of them. You were a fan, right? You used to go to games at the Met.
we went to every game. My dad and I both loved soccer. I got to play, my soccer with my dad until he got a little too old to play. But and we enjoyed going out to the old Met Center and seeing the Minnesota Strikers. All the great players we used to follow, Hector Marinero, and even just recently, a few weeks ago, I got a call from the former head coach, Alan Merrick. He called me and said, "Hey, what's this Blizzard thing?" Tino Lettieri, the goalie, which and such. So it was an exciting time, and they had really good, following at the Strikers. They had some good teams as well. So it was a lot of fun. I miss it when they folded, and I was right at that teenage year, so I was really in my wheelhouse. So I really exciting.
Yeah, we're actually looking at some old film from back in the '80s at the Met Center. I said I think I have your first promotion all set up. I think opening night for the Blizzard next December probably, or January, depending on how the
Yeah,
schedule breaks. You
yeah,
need to have maybe Alan Merrick, since he's there, and I think Tino
yeah.
Lettieri is still in the Minneapolis area. Have them come out, kick out the ceremonial opening kick, and the first 100 fans that come through the turnstiles get a free stuffed parrot. What do you think?
There you go. Yeah, the old parrot that Tino Lettieri, the keeper, used to put in the back of his net was fantastic. It was a great little gimmick he had going, and if you watch close enough, you may see me in some of the background of those highlights somewhere. As a fan, I had a little bit more hair back then, but you can find me maybe.
What was it
That's a great
about the
idea.
game that really captivated you? I think we're all a creature of that era. I saw my first game actually in 1979. Covered the Buffalo Stallions for a newspaper in Western New York, and I think the love that we all felt for the game was just immediate. And what was it for you that really turned you on to the indoor game?
Well, it definitely wasn't the short shorts that they have, as you see in the videos there. That was definitely something that's changed over the years. But you can see right here the back to back, the back and forth action, the high paced, games are 10-8. I mean, this is what people talk about Americans and not liking soccer because the games are 0-0 and 1-0 and stuff. And hey, that's still some great soccer. I love a great outdoor game that's a strongly defensive game. But indoor soccer with the constant action, playing it off the wall, getting the ball, and just going to the goal. It's like hockey on steroids. I mean, it's it's just so exciting and fast paced, and there's lots of action and goals. So I mean, I think it's that's really what drew me to it, and then able to play at some different facilities here in the Metro just kind of captivated me as far as the excitement of the game.
And speaking of facilities, you guys will have a wonderful home facility. It's the Warner Coliseum on the State Fairgrounds there in Minneapolis, St. Paul. About a 5,000 seat facility, and got great history. A nice facility, and you have to be excited about calling that your home, I would think.
Absolutely. I think it's great on a lot of levels. You know, the state fair people have been great to work with as we've gone down this path, looking for a space for us to play. I mean, I think that's in Minnesota in the winter, that's a challenge. Is everything's hockey here, right? So finding a place that'll have a dry floor that you can put turf down and play some soccer is tough with spectator seating, right, and such. So having the Warner Coliseum is great. I'm excited about it, and yeah, they're doing a lot of great things. It's a great facility, and I'm excited to get there and get the kickoff going. Like I said, I think it's going to be a great venue. I love that it's central too. It's not on the north side or the south side. It's in St. Paul, right? You know, basically in the middle of the city. So we can really try to capture our entire audience, if you will, of the whole metro area. So you know, it's not going to be difficult for anyone to get there. There's a good infrastructure to get there.
And we should talk a little bit of history. The Blizzard have some, even though you
Yeah.
haven't played officially yet, outdoors or indoors in the NPSL or M2. But you've been affiliated and been heavily involved with local teams already. So you just didn't kind of walk out of the ether and wake up one day and decide, hey, I want to bring indoor soccer back to Minneapolis, St. Paul. Tell us a little bit about your history with soccer in that city. I know you've been a high school coach for many years. You, as you mentioned, still active as a player and with these club organizations. So give us a little taste of how the Blizzard will be built, or the foundation that they're being built on.
Well, you're right. I mean, I've been involved in the game, you know, through my whole life, playing at Wayzata High School here, a local suburb in the western side of the metro, and through the Wayzata Soccer Club, a great club. Grew up in that club all the way through under 23, which we used to play against the old Minnesota Thunder players, which were the Blackhawks back then, and that was fantastic. But then from that point on, I became a coach. From 18 years old till just a few years ago, really was coaching every year, including at Osseo High School. I coached the girls, the varsity girls coach for 14 years. I had a long run there. Great time, a great opportunity with the Osseo team. And then, you know, just on the men's side, just running teams over those last 30 years, really, in that area, in the Hopkins area. Had a team called the Storm that I ran. And then more recently at Lakeville United is a team I've run for about 8 or 9 years, where I live in Lakeville. And we've got a lot of great high school and college players playing with us, and just kind of move through the Minnesota amateur leagues. And so really just kind of expanding on that, taking it to another level to go up to the M2 or the NPSL here. So I'm just excited to have some kind of foundation. A lot of, you know, I know there's a lot of great Division III college soccer here. We've got the St. Olaf team, which is south of Lakeville. They just won the national title for Division III soccer. So we've got some really good soccer here. And so getting in touch with all of those coaches and reaching out, letting them know about the Blizzard, and our summer head coach, Forrest Randall, has been in touch with many coaches in the area. So we've got a good foundation of knowledge of the area and the coaching and the different teams in the market that can support us.
I think one of the exciting things too is knowing right out of the gate you're going to have a geographic rival, because Central Wisconsin is already on board as well as a 24-25 team. And I think they're about maybe 2.5 hours from Minneapolis, St. Paul. So exciting for you, I would think, right out of the gate to have some bragging rights for the upper Midwest on the line.
Yeah. You know, that Minnesota-Wisconsin rivalry goes way back. I mean, you can go almost any sport, right? The Vikings and the Packers, the Gophers and the Badgers. I mean, you've got a huge Minnesota-Wisconsin rivalry. An expansion team, if you will, right? A new team. We can compare notes and see how we've done. I remember for years, you know, the Timberwolves and the Orlando Magic came into the league in the NBA the same year,
Right,
and they were
that's
always
right.
right. So I think, we'll have some comparisons there, and the Iowa teams are not far either. So that's awesome. I think having those geographic rivals, they're a little south, 3 hours, 3.5 hours south. I mean, so we've got some good logistic, teams that are close by that we'll have some rivalries with, and I'm excited to play against the new Wisconsin team, and maybe we can make that our opening game. We'll have to talk to the league about that. That'd be a great kickoff. The two expansion teams going at it.
Yeah, that would. We have a contact or two at the league office, so hopefully maybe we can make that happen. And you
Know
mentioned
somebody?
right, Iowa's not a big trip either. Although be careful what you wish for, because though the Demon Hawks and the Raptors are two of the best teams in M2. The Raptors
Mm-hmm.
going to the championship finals last year, lost to Chihuahua, but great run for the Raptors. And the Demon Hawks right now are still undefeated in M2. I think 9-0 as we
Yep.
take this, and so they very much might be the odds-on favorite to win a championship this year. So you'll have your hands full, which I know is
Yeah.
a challenge that you accept, right?
Well, yeah, exactly. They're having a great season. I've been following all the teams this season, and yeah, getting incorporated with the league on the M2 side. And like I said, my excitement for that is off the charts. And the Demon Hawks are having a fantastic year. Congrats to them. And yeah, again, I don't want to open my season with the Demon Hawks, right, or the Raptors. So I would love to go against the new team that's trying to build the foundation, and home or away. It just to give us at least a chance, right? We'll see. We'll see.
Hey, you played the game, a longtime fan of the game, played the game. I know you haven't named a coach yet. Maybe that'll be coming sometime not too distant future. But from a personal standpoint, philosophically, what are you looking for? What do you want your team to be? What do you want your coach to be in terms of representing the indoor game?
Well, I think it is important that the indoor coach have some knowledge of the indoor game. It is a different game than the outdoor game, and you play a lot more direct, a lot more, go into the goal. It's not as, I mean, you try to possess the ball, of course, but you're not playing as much slower possession. It's more of, hey, can we get through and make two passes and go to the goal or score? So it's a little different way. It's a little more physical as far as, you got the boards and things, yeah, it's just like that video there. You get the ball, go to goal, and take a shot. Get a rebound. There's Hector Marinero there. I think that's the game. It's different than the outdoor game. So you need a coach that can adapt to that and have that knowledge. I think it's a more action-packed, direct style that the fans like, and that's what you're looking for, and being able to understand how the substitutions work. Right? It's like hockey. You're subbing lines in every minute or so, and you just have it's obviously very different substitution wise than an outdoor game. So yeah, you have to have a little knowledge. So looking for someone who can take that game to the next level for us.
Yeah, I had forgotten actually before doing a little research before our interview that Hector Marinero had played in Minnesota. So,
Yeah,
I mean, you
yeah.
guys, a heck of a indoor soccer legacy for too short a period of time. But of course, Hector, I would call him the Lord of all indoors too, behind Steve Jungle. But the
Yes.
reality is just one of the all-time greats, and good friends with our commissioner, Chris Economides, I know. So
Oh,
if we bring Coach Merrick back and Tino back, maybe we can get Hector back for that opener as well, and make it a grand strikers reunion to celebrate the return of pro indoor soccer in Minneapolis, St. Paul. Chad, we really appreciate the time today. We're so excited to have you guys as part of the league. We know it's going to work well and be extremely popular and well received in the Twin Cities. And good luck as you move
yeah.
forward.
Yeah, I appreciate the time, Brian. Like I said, looking forward to all the things that come along the way here, and to having our first kickoff in December. Just it's going to come up fast, but I'm excited to go down the path with the league, and it's a great league. I mean, from Chris to Andrew to yourself and all the folks I've talked to in the league, it's been great, and a lot of growth. I think announcements are coming in the future with some more teams in the future, right? So I think it's going to keep growing. I'm happy to be a part of it. So yeah, looking forward to it.
Yeah, the arrows are all pointing up, no question about that. Chad Hendricks, the owner
Yeah.
and president of the Minnesota Blizzard, the newest team to join M2, and they will debut at the Warner Coliseum in Minneapolis, St. Paul, coming up in the start of the 2023, or rather 2024-25 season. That'll do it for this edition of M2 Review. We will talk to you soon. Until then, have a great week, everybody.
Thanks again.